Good afternoon, sir. Ma'am, how are you? How are you? I wanted to ask you a question about your book, The Finished Mystery.
Are you going to go away, or am I going to call the police?
I want to ask you a question about your book. I want to ask you a question about your book.
Go away.
I want to ask you a question about your book, sir. Don't push, don't push. It's a criminal offence to touch.
You are filming me without my...
I don't need your, but it's a criminal offence to touch. All I want to do is ask you about this book, which on page 386 says, I'll quote you, the millennial reign began in 1874 with the return of Christ. I'm curious, sir. The millennial reign of Christ began in 1874. That was later changed to 1914, of course. But as late as the book Prophecy in 1929, if you look at page 60-something in the book Prophecy, 65 I think, it says that they were still maintaining in 1925 that Christ came back in 1874.
No, this is true. Yeah.
Hello, I've got one of your older books here, The Finished Mystery. This was the book that was current when Jesus chose the society in 1919. Apparently he chose the Watchtower Society as God's sole channel of communication in 1919. It says here on page 386, the millennium began in 1874 with the return of Christ. How do you answer this, Ma'am?
I'm not answering anything. Go away, please.
They're not your religion, mate. Sorry.
386.
They've got their own religion, so we've rather not.
I'm asking them about their religion. This is their book.
He's not one.
It's not
He's
your
not a
book at
Jehovah's
all.
Witness.
Well, then it's none of your business, mate. Page 380,
Excuse me,
386.
That is my fucking business. Don't talk to me like a
Don't
Christian.
touch.
Don't
380
talk to us, Sam. We don't want to know it, right?
386
Excuse me.
says
Go away.
386. The millennium began
It's better to keep
in
it
1876.
somewhere else. And take your camera off people as well.
But the millennium began in 1876. 1874. The millennium began in 1874 with the return of Christ.
You cannot force Christianity on people, mate.
It's their religion. This isn't what I believe.
It's not the Jehovah's Witnesses.
This is the Jehovah's Witness book. This isn't what I believe. I don't understand why the millennium began,
Get your camera away.
but I don't.
Get your camera away.
I don't.
Go over there and piss off.
I don't understand why the millennium began in 1874, the return of Christ.
Just vile little manner. Get your camera away. Just leave people away. Keep
I'm
your
quoting
opinions
their
to
literature.
yourself.
Well, we don't want to
I don't believe this. It's not what I believe. This is their book. This is their book. Hello ladies, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, we're fine, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. You've got a beautiful day. You've got the best spot here.
Yeah,
Perfect weather.
that's right.
Could I just take up 2 minutes of your time only?
No, thank you.
Please,
No.
just to ask you
The
about
answer's
Acts
no.
1:11,
The answer's no.
where Christ goes up to heaven from the Mount of Olives and he says he's coming back in like manner to the Mount of Olives. No, I don't want to make you move, honestly. I'll shoot on my way.
I was just
Okay, and the other verse is Zechariah 14, 3-5. where Jehovah God says that the feet of Jehovah God
Excuse me, we said
will
no,
stand on
thank
the
you.
Mount of
No,
Olives.
thank you. Go on, please. Thank you. Bye-bye.
But surely this is a public witnessing card.
No, it's a card for you to take.
No. On the JW.X
Yeah.
website, this is called a public witnessing card. JW.org says it's a public witnessing card. Well,
We still have the right to decide who we want to talk to. And we don't
well, you don't want to talk to anyone who knows the Bible. You're just looking for the ignorant and the uneducated, the biblically illiterate. The only people you can rope into the Jehovah's Witnesses now. People with no internet access who are not going to check out your history. Would you at least...
Excuse me, then why do we advertise JW.org?
Because it's supposed to be a public witnessing card.
No,
and you got
no, that is...
Right, that's what?
You said that we don't want them to get on there, but we do.
Well, you don't have your older books, your history books. I've got a copy of Studies in the Scripture, Volume 7 in my bag.
Have you got copies of old medical journals, old science journals?
Science journals don't claim to be God's sole channel of communication, but the Watchtower Society says that it is God's sole channel of communication on earth today. So if you're God's sole channel of communication, you need to teach the truth. The Watchtower, 1st of December 1991, page 7, says do not trust, I'm paraphrasing, do not trust any religion that tells you lies. Anyone who lies to you, have nothing to do with them. And the Watchtower have continually told lies for 130 years.
Thank
Okay.
you. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. Hello, I was wondering, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, sir. Wonder if it's possible to discuss the second coming of Christ, Acts chapter 1 and Zechariah
Sorry,
14.
we don't want to discuss. If you just carry on, then we are going to just take the trolley and move. So we'd rather not have to do that.
But isn't this called on JW.org a public witnessing card? You're here to do public witnessing. And I'd like to discuss Christ's second coming, that he left the Mount of Olives and he's coming back again. Zechariah 14:3-5 says that Jehovah's feet will stand on the Mount of Olives. And Acts chapter 1 verse 11, Mom? Acts chapter 1 verse 11 says that Christ left this earth on the Mount of Olives and his feet are going to stand again on the Mount of Olives. So Zechariah 14:3-5 harmonizes with Acts chapter 1 verse 11 and 12.